I want to talk about meta work as procrastination. And this is where instead of actually doing the work, you kind of do work in preparation for the work. So creating systems, making plans, optimizing, automating before there's even a workflow to automate. In my case, this has really happened with creating content. So I've spent time creating the Notion pipelines, buying different hard drives, different camera equipment, to the point now where there's just no excuse. I've got all the stuff. You can literally plan for the rest of your life and it could always feel productive. There's always another angle to consider, another system to build, another way to frame what you're doing. Planning engages some of my strongest traits. So systems thinking, pattern recognition, and it never asks me to put out something that might fail. Whereas execution is the opposite to this. Publishing means that it exists and it might not be good, or nobody engages with it, or it doesn't match the version in my head. So then there is this self-reinforcing loop where planning is more stimulating than the execution. That bloke going for a run. I could spend the rest of the year researching what shoes, what shorts, what jacket, and then the season changes and you're like, oh, I was looking at winter stuff. I need to look at the summer stuff. Or you can just go for a run, right? And then optimize as you're actually doing it and you actually know what kind of makes sense and what doesn't. And so what I think happens is I deplete myself through planning. So I feel drained and then the execution is just impossible. And then because that's difficult, it feels like evidence I'm not ready. I can say, I still don't really know what running shoes to get. I still don't really know how to edit the videos. I still don't really know how to do thumbnails. And then you just plan more. I've thought about this for a long time and I've genuinely been paralyzed by this loop for like 6 years. And I come up with excuses like, I'm not that good at recording myself in public, or I don't really feel comfortable recording myself in public. And then I'll justify it when actually I've just not done it enough. I've actually just been caught up so much in everything else other than execution that I don't feel like doing it. I don't have the energy to do it. I don't feel motivated to do it because I've just been spinning my wheels on this thing which wasn't really important and hasn't really got me anywhere. I know everything about it, what software to use, the memory card management. I've even created Python scripts that automate everything from the SD card, label it by date. I've looked at different project structures for the file system. I've tried different software to upload it to multiple platforms. I've tried AI tools, which create the title for you. They write a transcript. They can convert it into a blog post when you make a video. Literally not really used any of it. I've spent thousands of pounds on different equipment that I've used a couple of times. Microphones, cameras, lights, green screens. And it's because the setup is something that I'm really good at. I can set everything up and I find it exciting and it leverages my best skills. But then I get caught in that phase and never actually produce and publish. And this is where, for me now, the videos have to be something that I can actually stick to. Don't think about it too much. Just pick the camera up and start doing it. Start talking to it and get better at doing that, because that's the bit that's missing. And being okay with the fact that it's not going to resonate with everyone. It's not Mr. Beast level production quality. It's not the most eloquent way of saying things. It's not the best, but it's published. And that's the thing which is missing. And the more I do it, the more it will improve. And it doesn't improve by me thinking about it or planning more or trying more different software or buying a new camera or changing. I was watching a video about filming in public and the person had the same camera I have, but they had a different filter on it. And I was like, I am not gonna spend the next hour researching that filter because that's my inclination. It's, oh, that looks cool. What's that? oh, this does all this mad stuff and it stops the sky from being blown out when it's a cloudy day, and you can twist it and it fucking does this and that. They just don't matter, because the stage I'm at, I need to post. I need to publish. I need to get past this point where I'm stuck on the plan and thinking about the execution rather than executing. And the thing which I would say helped me quite a lot was to go into Claude and really talk about some of the things that I struggled with, not to try and diagnose myself, but to kind of map out my brain architecture. That's what I called it. And to say, I really struggle when this happens, or when I'm in this situation, I find it hard to stay calm. Or after this type of thing happens, I just feel anxious for the rest of the day. And mapping these things out about yourself can stop you from falling into these bad loops of behavior. The more that I do this kind of thing, the more I realize that there's genuinely no one stopping me from doing anything. And it's just my own way of thinking, my own patterns of behavior, which get in my way. So figuring out what they are is one of the most important things to me at the moment. And then addressing them, just doing the thing, not thinking about it loads, not, spending a week mapping out my brain's architecture. It's not even about that. It's just that I can reference it and be like, this is the same thing that's been happening for a long time. And it's kind of obvious what I need to do. And the thing is with this planning, the reason I'm talking just about this example is not because it only applies to this. This way of thinking has applied to multiple areas of my life. I've realized that I think a lot of things, I know a lot of things, I listen to a lot of things, but then I don't really apply them. It's the exact same problem. Is I'll research, think about it, I'll try and make a plan. I was talking to Claude about it, and Claude knows this brain architecture context. And I was like, I want to start going to the gym, but I think that I don't go to sleep early enough because I'm working, I don't take breaks, and all these things have these kind of domino effects. And it was like, mate, just go to sleep early tonight. And I'm like, okay, but what comes after that? And it's like, don't worry about what comes after that. Just go to sleep early tonight. And I'm like, yeah, but I want to start going to the gym and stuff like that. Should I go to the gym today? And it's like, no, just fucking go to bed early tonight. And I think that is like the complete opposite of the way I normally think. Is I think, okay, go to bed early tonight. I'll decide, yeah, go to sleep early. And then I'll just move on to the next thing and just completely forget that I'd said that. And then later on tonight, when it gets to 7:30, at the time when I should be turning my screens off to get ready for bed, I'll be like, oh, but there's this other thing I've been saying I'm going to do, and I should probably start on that. And then I'll do 50% of that or 80% of that. And then I've just got like all these unfinished things, all these plans which never got executed. And I've genuinely done this for years. And the only time I've ever really seen a change is just when I'm doing stuff and not really giving it loads and loads of thought, like giving it enough thought, but not to the point where it literally stops me from executing it. And so my plan for today is to just get off of the screens at 7:30. I've set an alarm for 7:15. That's a 15-minute warning, and then 7:30. And then I was talking to Claude about that, and I said, how do I actually make sure that happens? And it said, what are you going to do at 7:30? And I said, I could have a shower, I could read a book, I could stretch. And it's like, cool, get the yoga mat ready, put the book next to it, and then make sure your towel's ready to go. And then at 7:30, there's no decisions to be made. It's just like easy. You just get started. Another big part of the problem is that once you start thinking about things and you get caught up in your own head and then you don't do it, and then it just gets really fucking messy. And I think that it's another prime example where if you do that, it doesn't matter what you know or what you think or what you listen to or what you consume, your brain's just not in the right mode, right? You're not thinking in a way that is based on executing. You're thinking in this way that's like, I'm not good enough. I need to make this plan better before I do it. I need to make sure I get this right. And I think ultimately it all just stems from, I'm not good enough. This is going to fail. And all of these other negative type of thoughts that make you think that you need to keep planning. And ultimately they actually keep you there as well. And you don't want to get caught there. You want the benefits of what's going to come from actually doing the thing, right? And the only way to do that is to stop fucking planning and start doing.